Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast Five, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we still obviously keep it to 5 minutes, but we pick out the biggest story of the week, the sleeper story, one that's maybe flying under the radar a little bit, the most remarkable story, and then our favourite story of the week. So let's jump in. What was the biggest story this week, Sean?
Look, it was the economy. The Governor of the Reserve Bank, Philip Lowe, suggested the official cash rate is likely to double in coming months. It's big overseas too. The European Central Bank lifted interest rates for the first time this week. It joins the US, UK, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, lots of countries like that. Why is it big? Because at the moment, markets reckon there are signs that inflation has peaked. And when that happens, we can start talking about interest rate relief. In fact, Wall Street had its best 3-day rally since May. The ASX was up, bond yields were down. Maybe we can see the end in sight.
Sean, that is a big story. For me, the biggest story this week, though, is the largest deal in banking in almost 15 years in this country. ANZ wants to buy Suncorp for $4.9 billion. Plenty of hoops still to jump through. But what we know is this. ANZ hopes to raise about $3.5 billion from shareholders to fund the deal. If it goes ahead, it'll add about 1.2 million new customers to ANZ. The Suncorp brand will remain for the next 5 years. Headquarters will stay in Brisbane. Branches would be open for at least 3 years. It's important because it would significantly increase the size of ANZ. It'll be a bigger player than NAB in household lending and deposits. And it also marks the end of the bank assurance era, where financial services companies took on banking and insurance and wealth management, put it all together. It's a big story.
Yeah, biggest deal for quite some time, that one.
All right, most remarkable. I'll go first on this one if that's all right.
Yeah.
Twice this week, Sean, we've had Tesla bigwigs talking up the lithium sector. Tesla CEO Elon Musk called on entrepreneurs to get into lithium processing and refining, saying you can't lose. He said it's a license to print money. Of course, he'd say that he needs lithium for Tesla batteries, but I just love the emotive language. Investors clearly did too. Stocks in lithium companies jumped this week. The same thing from Tesla chair Robin Denholm, but a bit more measured. She said that Australia's greatest opportunity this century is to be a global leader in the battery supply chain. She said it's a once-in-a-century opportunity. For me, that seems to put Australia in a pretty incredible position to capitalise on the shift to a greener way of operating.
Yeah, look, very big story. For me, the most remarkable story is what's happening with COVID. Starting in the US, President Joe Biden tested positive, notwithstanding all those checks and balances around him. The numbers are surging in Europe. Same in China, where there are lockdowns. This week came the news that every country in the world now has experienced COVID. In Australia, the numbers are above 50,000 cases a day. The number of deaths per day is heading towards 100. 2.5 years in, we're still on the upslope here, not the downslope. Remarkable.
All right. What is the sleeper story for you? This is maybe one that's not getting the attention that it deserves.
Oh, the fact that the ACT government banned the sale of internal combustion engine new cars from 2035. Massive change. Think of all the petrol cars that will now become worth much less. Think about the infrastructure needs around charging stations. Think about the car sellers. Think about the people who totally have to rethink their driving experience. A jurisdiction in Australia legislating for this, quite incredible.
Yeah, it didn't get that much attention, did it? The sleeper story for me this week, Sean, is the pressure that Australia's under on the biosecurity front right now. Major outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Indonesia. This week, viral fragments were found in imported meat here in Australia. We don't have the live disease here yet, and that's the important part. Because if it does get through, the impact on the cattle and broader livestock industry would be completely devastating. A single live case is all it needs to trigger a massive, massive response. At the same time, we're dealing with the varroa mite in the bee population. The New South Wales Agriculture Minister this week said he was confident the outbreak can be eradicated, but the complications from that go well beyond honey to pollination for all kinds of crops. The cost could be in the billions. It is a reminder of the vital role that our biosecurity laws play, helping to keep things like varroa mite and foot and mouth out.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, that one.
All right. Favourite story. I think we agree on this one. What was it this week, Sean?
Shrinkflation. How can you go past that? That's a paring down of serving sizes to offset higher food costs. It's a hallmark of inflationary environments, such as what the US is experiencing at the moment. And in the US, it's on the rise. People are starting to complain on Yelp, which is a very big review website operator. Apparently, the most complained about restaurants are those serving lower cost menu items. So hot dogs are getting smaller, burgers are getting smaller, pizza slices are getting smaller. Shrinkflation, it's here and the people aren't happy.
It's a fantastic story though.
Sure is.
All right, there we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed.